The president of the COP26 climate summit, Alok Sharma, said that time is running out to reach a deal. He said the challenge for negotiators was monumental and called for an ambitious agreement to be reached. The BBC has filmed queues of people and families in the Belarusian capital Minsk waiting to travel onto the border with Poland. The European Union has threatened to blacklist airlines that bring migrants to Belarus. F.W. de Klerk, the last president of South Africa, white president of South Africa, has died at the age of 85. In a speech released after his death, he apologised for the hurt of apartheid. And the husband of the detained British-Iranian national Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe has described talks between Britain and Iran as a breakthrough. Richard Ratcliffe is now on his 19th day of a hunger strike.
In a closely watched market report, OPEC predicted that soaring energy prices are likely to mean less demand for oil this year. OPEC said global demand would grow by 5.7 million barrels a day this year. That's 160,000 less than it expected last month. The National Association of Realtors says high demand from home buyers meant the average home for sale sat on the market for only 1 week before going under contract, from July 2020 to June 2021. That's down from 3 weeks a year earlier, and it marks a record low in data going back to 1989. And today's Singles Day, China's biggest annual one-day shopping event that brings in more revenue than Black Friday and Cyber Monday. But this year, power outages and chip shortages have slowed production, and that's leading to delays for some consumer goods. Some merchants are sticking to their usual price discounts, while others are offering smaller ones.
We start here in Japan. Prime Minister Kishida Fumio and a U.S. military commander say their countries will work closely so their alliance will make them better able to deter and tackle threats. This comes as China is stepping up its military activities in the region. Kishida met Thursday with the commander of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, Admiral John Aquilino.
By further promoting cooperation between Japan and the United States, we want to realize a free and open Indo-Pacific and work together for the stability of the region and the international community.
Admiral Aquilino said he'll work with the top officer of Japan's self-defense forces, Yamazaki Koji.
My commitment to you is that I will work with General Yamazaki to deliver a free and open Indo-Pacific and peace and stability and prosperity for the region.
Japanese officials say Kishida and Aquilino shared serious concern over China's unilateral attempts to change the status quo. They also discussed North Korea's nuclear and missile development. They agreed it's important to steadily reorganize the U.S. military in Japan so as to maintain deterrence and ease the burden on communities that host U.S. facilities. Kishida urged the U.S. to run its bases safely. Japan's defense ministry says Aquilino and SDF Chief of Staff Yamazaki inspected defense activities in southwestern Japan this week. They visited SDF camps on the remote islands of Yonaguni and Amami Oshima. Ministry officials say Aquilino and Yamazaki observed the region by helicopter and shared information about the situation and SDF activities there. The ministry is deploying new units to strengthen defense in the region. Turning to the latest on the coronavirus here in Japan, the health ministry has approved booster shots of the Pfizer vaccine for people aged 18 and older. It's the first coronavirus vaccine that Japan has approved booster shots for. The ministry plans to begin administering third doses to healthcare workers starting in December and to senior citizens in January. The Pfizer vaccine is currently available to people aged 12 and older. However, booster shots will only be given to those 18 and above. As the ministry says, there's not enough data on the effectiveness and safety of third doses for those younger than that. It plans to lower the age of eligibility once Pfizer provides more data. Meanwhile, NHK has learned Moderna filed an application for the administration of booster shots of its vaccine with the health ministry on Wednesday. The ministry will now start examining data presented by the company, with the goal of starting third doses around March of next year. Coronavirus cases remain low in Japan. The Tokyo government says the 7-day average of daily new infections in the capital is about 22.9. This is the fourth straight week the figure is below 50. But experts say residents should continue to observe preventive measures.
People will have more opportunities to socialize toward the end of the year, including holiday parties and family trips. This could lead to the spread of infection.
Japan reported 216 new cases and 4 deaths nationwide on Thursday. 92 people are in serious condition. Leaders of China's Communist Party have adopted a resolution summing up the party's 100-year history. They appear to be aiming to consolidate the authority of President Xi Jinping. He's believed to have set his sights on securing an unprecedented third term at a party congress next year. The state-run Xinhua news agency says the Central Committee held a plenary session from Monday to Thursday, attended by more than 300 senior party members, including President Xi. A communique issued after the meeting says they adopted a resolution on the Communist Party's achievements and history. The communique says the Central Committee, with Xi Jinping at its core, has solved many tough problems with political courage and a sense of mission. It also says they paved the way for rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, enabling it to industrialize in decades. It says they achieved rapid economic growth and enduring social stability at the same time. The Communist Party had adopted this kind of resolution twice before, in 1945 and 1981. Experts say they helped consolidate the power bases of then-leaders Mao Zedong and Deng Xiaoping. The United Nations Security Council has expressed deep concern over the increasing violence in Myanmar and called on the country's military to exercise the utmost restraint. The Council released a statement on the Myanmar situation on Wednesday. It was the first such document to be agreed upon by all 15 members since March. The statement called for an immediate end to the violence and ensuring the safety of civilians. It also stressed the importance of improving the country's humanitarian situation in such ways as promoting a coronavirus vaccination program. The statement expressed full support for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations in its efforts to bring about a peaceful resolution. Myanmar's military has been cracking down on citizens protesting against the February coup. There have been increasing clashes in the country's northwest and elsewhere since pro-democracy forces called for a defensive war against the military rulers in September. ASEAN has called on Myanmar to accept the group's special envoy to mediate a dialogue between the military and pro-democracy forces. Turning now to Thailand, the Constitutional Court has ruled that calls by pro-democracy activists for reform of the country's monarchy are an unconstitutional attempt to overthrow the institution. The court on Wednesday ordered the 3 main activists and their associates who demanded the reform in August of last year to refrain from making any more such demands. Since July of last year, Thailand has seen a series of anti-government protests, mostly by young people. Along with the resignation of the current administration, the protesters have been demanding the abolition of the law that makes it illegal to defame the royal family. They also want a smaller royal budget. Even debating royal reform has long been a taboo topic in Thailand. One of the defendants, Panasaya Sitijirawattanagung, said the ruling was not acceptable. She said on Twitter, quote, "I'm only asking for reform," unquote. A lawyer for the demonstrators said young people who are merely calling for reform of the monarchy in order to improve society could be charged with subversion in the future. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Washington is troubled by recent Russian military movement. The comments come amid reports the Kremlin has deployed about 90,000 troops near the Ukrainian border.
We are concerned with the reports of the unusual Russian activity near Ukraine. We're looking at this very, very closely.
Blinken held a news conference after meeting with Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba in Washington. He added that U.S. commitment to Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity was, quote, ironclad. Kuleba said his country would stand its ground in the face of Russian hostility.
It is very important that the United States stand by Ukraine in our efforts to defend our sovereignty and territorial integrity in the face of the ongoing Russian aggression.
Tensions are mounting between Washington and Moscow over recent NATO military drills in the Black Sea. Russian media says the country's navy is carefully monitoring U.S. vessels in the area for the exercises. A group of Japanese researchers has begun clinical trials on a potentially groundbreaking form of ovarian cancer therapy. The treatment uses specialized immune cells made from iPS stem cells to attack the cancer. The study is a collaboration between the National Cancer Center Hospital East and Kyoto University's Center for iPS Cell Research and Application. The researchers used iPS, or induced pluripotent stem cells, to make what they call natural killer cells that efficiently target the cancer with minimal side effects. The first patient, a woman in her 50s, underwent 3 treatment sessions in September. She's reportedly experienced no adverse reactions.
We hope to speed up the creation of a range of medical and pharmaceutical products that use iPS cells.
The researchers plan to conduct clinical trials of the treatment on up to 18 patients with advanced and inoperable cases of ovarian cancer. Stormy weather is battering southern parts of Europe as a system hovers over the western Mediterranean. Our meteorologist Saika Mori has a look at the situation in world weather.
Hello there. A storm called Blas has been swirling over the western Mediterranean, bringing days of stormy conditions. Corsica had 230 millimeters of rain in 24 hours. That's significant for the area. Mallorca had flooding and also landslides, and heavy rainfall is hitting Algeria. A building collapsed because of heavy rainfall that killed several people. The system will likely intensify. It could become a Mediterranean hurricane within the next couple of days, and will likely bring more heavy rain and strong winds to surrounding areas. We might see heavy rainfall that could lead to more flooding as well as landslides. Meanwhile, temperature-wise, looking quite chilly in the north, 6 in Moscow, 6 in Stockholm. Looking pretty sunny in Lisbon with high of 20 degrees on your Friday. Meanwhile, there were 2 reports of tornadoes in Japan on Tuesday and Wednesday. One of them hit Futsu. Several houses were severely damaged because of strong winds. Now, we will continue to see unstable weather conditions for many places of Japan, especially along the Sea of Japan side. Mountains could see heavy snowfall, and there's a possibility of thunderstorms and even more tornadoes along the coastal locations. Temperatures are going up to the 20-degree mark finally in Fukuoka as we go into Monday. Sapporo will be in the teens for the next couple of days. And with cooler temperatures, leaves are changing their colors. Take a look at this beautiful video. Over in Iwate Prefecture, trees at nationally registered Nanshioso and its garden in Morioka are being lit up during the night. About 50 Yamamomiji trees are planted here, and at night, lights bring the vibrant colors to life. The illumination began Wednesday night and will be available every day until next Sunday. That's it for me. Have a nice day.